German Touring Car Master. A look back at season number 2 in 2001. First race of the season, the short course at Hockenheim. The question was who was going to dominate early. A great crowd on hand for the second season. It's a Mercedes day. Bernd Schneider's on the pole, followed by more Mercedes than anyone wants to count. Peter Dumbreck, Thomas Jaeger, Lamy, Alsen, Turner, and Marcel Fessler. The best non-Mercedes was Aiello in the Audi. And Bernd Schneider gets the jump right off the bat. And also right off the bat, Patrick Hoosman is off the course in the north curve. Cars work their way through this relatively tight yet fast short circuit. He rides now with Christian Abt. Ahead of him, Marcel Fessler, one of the many Mercedes that dominated in qualifying. Hoosman had problems here, as you can see, and that's why he went off the course right in the very first corner. Bernd Schneider with a huge lead, followed by his teammate Peter Dumbreck and another Mercedes, Uwe Alsen. Alsen in his first year for Mercedes. The Mercedes team surprising everyone here. They had hoped that the Opels would be back in competitive, but right now it's all a Mercedes show. The mandatory pit stop. Bernd Schneider comes in. These pit stops mandatory in the feature race in the German Touring Car Masters. All 4 tires, and he's out in 11.4 seconds. It's a great stop. With that pit stop, Marcel Fessler has taken the lead, but the young Swiss driver still has to go into the pits. Martin Tomczak, looks like his day is over. He's in the tires. He went off on his own. Lucky the tires were there. The pace car comes out for the first time this season, and Marcel Fessler takes advantage of it for his pit stop. Can he get out in time to keep the lead or not? No, he'll come out in second place. Tomczak Auto pulled out of the tires. The race back underway. 8 laps to go, and Bernd Schneider continues to be out in front. Fessler, Dumbreck, Alsen, Jaeger, Albers, Lamy, Turner, all Mercedes, along with Mailänder. A Mercedes parade here at Hockenheim at the opening of the season. Sandwiched in between is that Opel of Yves Olivier, but he is a lapped car. And he is also slowing down the field behind him, including Fessler and Dumbreck, allowing Bernd Schneider to get away from everybody. Here is Aiello behind Turner, and Turner loses part of his car. Aiello is lucky it didn't hit him. And Bernd Schneider comes home the winner of the first race of the 2001 season, ahead of Marcel Fessler and Peter Dumbreck. Mercedes 1, 2, and 3. Norbert Haug very happy with the beginning of the year. And certainly this man too, the defending champ, Bernd Schneider. For the Mercedes fans, a great day. Everyone else hopes that here at the Nürburgring in the second race of the season, things will change in favor of Opel or Audi. And the Audi surprised everybody. Laurent Aiello, the Audi's on the pole, and next to him, the young 19-year-old Martin Tomczak in another Audi. So Audi comes back here at the Nürburgring, and the Mercedes are running third, fourth. A great start as they go through. Tomczyk made a mistake, went off the course at the start. Thomas Jaeger was able to get by him. The rest of the field sorting itself out here on the Grand Prix course at the Nürburgring. 2.83 miles long. And to the surprise of everyone, Laurent Aiello way out in front in the Audi. After the Mercedes dominant, an Audi out in front. Taking a look at the start, Tomczyk made a mistake, went off the course, and it was lucky there were no more collisions than there were. Jaeger certainly took advantage of it. He settled into second. The field now sorting itself out here at the Nürburgring. We're riding with Uwe Alsing. You get a good look at the action through the chicane, which leads back toward the start-finish. The Audi of Christian Abt comes into the pits. His problems continue. He's got more than his share of bad luck. In the battle for second, it's Jaeger, along with Tomczyk. Meanwhile, Aiello comes in for the pit stop. 9.4 seconds. What a great stop. However, Thomas Jaeger inherits the lead. Tomczyk is running in third, and Bernd Schneider is running in fourth. But they still have their pits ahead of them yet. So Laurent Aiello has his pit stop, and now he will wait till everybody else makes theirs with the possibility then of taking the lead back. Bernd Schneider comes into the pits. Your defending champion and Hockenheim winner heads for his mandatory pit stop. Peter Dumbrecht loses control of his Mercedes. Dumbrecht, the teammate of Bernd Schneider. This is Mailander. And they've got problems. This pit stop will cost him. He'll be way behind by the time he gets out. Aiello now is running second in that yellow Audi. Michel Bartels in the Opel is running in first place. Back there in third is Bernd Schneider. Bartels still, though, has to pit. He's your leading car. He has stayed out there. Opel can at least smile here. They have not done that well. They have not been that strong. And they're running back in the pack here. But at least now they can smile with somebody out in front. You can see some problems with the Darren Turner car, the Mercedes. And now, Michel Bartels heads into the pits. And Laurent Aiello takes over the lead with Bernd Schneider running in second place. Bartels into the pits. Schneider loses a little bit of control here, and Aiello's going to get away from him. Schneider holds position, but he's lost contact with Aiello. And everybody else is closed up in on him. So the battle for second, third, fourth, and fifth is going to be very, very tight. Jaeger is right there behind Schneider. He got up over the curbs and got squirrely. Got it back under control without losing position, but he lost time. Uwe Alsing with problems. In the last lap, he can't control the car, and it goes off. He'd end up in 19th position. But the day belongs to this man, Laurent Aiello, in the Audi, finishing ahead of Bernd Schneider in the Mercedes and another Mercedes of Thomas Jaeger.
Extraordinary, I would say. First win in the DTM, first win for Audi, for the team apt. I think it's wonderful, but it was a very tough race.
Weekend number 3, Oschersleben, a very difficult course with front of a great crowd. In fact, it's a record crowd for the track, some 58,000. At the start of the race, Marcel Fessler in the black Mercedes gets out in front. Bernd Schneider cuts right in and takes over second place. And Laurent Aiello is running third. The apt Audis continue to show a very strong performance. The battle continues back in the pack, and here comes Alsen, has moved into third place. Uwe Alsen got by Laurent Aiello. And Ekstrom also gets by. One of the Audi drivers gets by Aiello. Either something wrong with the car or he made a mistake and he's trying to catch up here, but he's dropping way back. Aiello gets fourth position back as he passes Ekstrom. Up front, though, are Fessler, Schneider, and Alsen. Good look at the chicane here at Oschersleben. Time for the pit stops. Tomczyk is the first in the pits. All 4 tires have to be changed to the down in 7.6 seconds. The young driver making quite a performance for himself in his first year in the series. He makes it out onto the course and then goes off the course. A little too anxious, and the tires weren't quite ready for all the grip yet, and he went off. He's learning as he goes. Here's Bernd Schneider getting by Marcel Fessler. The Mercedes running 1, 2, and 3 again. Fessler's teammate Uwe Alsen running back in third position. Laurent Aiello comes into the pit. The rest of the cars continue to come in. Fessler has been in. Alsen has been in. Bernd Schneider is in the pit. All 4 tires, 8.7 seconds. Slower than Fessler. This should be tight. Schneider lost the lead because of that pit stop. But he did take over second position. The rest of the field still has to pit. You can see the battling going on back in the pack from the view of Patrick Husmann. Norbert Haug watching all the action. Can't be too upset. Bernd Schneider loses control. But he can hold on to second place. He wanted to go for the win, but lost it. That means Fessler is on the way to his first victory, if he can hold on. Uwe Alsen pulling out here into third position. Fessler working towards the start-finish line, hoping everything holds together for his first victory of the 2001 season. Fessler comes across the start-finish line ahead of Bernd Schneider and Uwe Alsen. Another Mercedes of Peter Dumbreck was fourth. Then 3 Audis followed that group. Aiello, Abt, and Ekstrom. The best Opel driver, Timo Scheider, 12th. And once again, another Mercedes victory. And another 1-2-3 celebration. The next stop, the Sachsenring, the 4th event of the season. Peter Dumbreck in the Mercedes on the pole. Gets the lead. Ekstrom in the Audi is running second ahead of Christian Abt. Bernd Schneider had qualified way back in 20th position and is starting 4th. In the qualifying race, an amazing start for Schneider. Running 5th here right now. Dumbreck made the failure. Ekstrom got by and takes the lead. A 23-year-old Swedish driver, also making quite a name for himself here. That's Patrick Guzman's car with problems. We'll have to see if he can make it to the pits. Hopefully he does it without losing parts and damaging any other cars in the field. So far, so good. And then there's an accident back in the pack. Haupt and Alsen touch each other. And then comes Chris Nissen into the tires and across the track and back out onto the track. The safety car will have to come out. And Chris Nissen is okay. But a terrible crash here at the Sachsenring. The safety car is out. Everyone is all right, but they have a lot of cleanup to do. That's Hubert Haupt walking through the debris. His Opel is out. The safety crew getting him back in. The safety car has the leaders. A major crash here at the Sachsenring, but nobody was hurt. Here's another look at it. Haupt and Alsen started all. They spin. Everyone else tries to get around them. Watch the 2 yellow Audis in the back. That lead one is Chris Nissen. He gets out of the way but loses control, cuts back across into the tires, back across the street, and then is hit by Peter Mamero.
I'm not completely sure about it. I think it was a race accident. Some cars in front of me went off or half off. There was a lot of smoke. I braked. I went on the throttle again. I had to go right, left, and I lost the car. I think I came on the grass, and then I hit the Armco. The car went back on the circuit. Another car hit me. It was quite exciting. I was really, really scared. But it's good to see that the cars are as safe as they are.
And during the pace car laps, the rest of the field was in for their mandatory pit stops. That included Bernd Schneider. Meanwhile, the crews have to go to work to clean up the track. Nissen had been driving for Laurent Aiello, who was at Le Mans. So now, Ekstrom is your leader, ahead of Peter Dumbreck and Christian Abt. Bernd Schneider is running in 6th position. You're riding out with Marcel Fessler in his Mercedes. Bernd Schneider continues to move up in the field. He gets by Timo Scheider. And Schneider now moves in to 4th place. And you get a good view of that move. Now the rest of the field starts to pit, but Bernd Schneider had already pitted. His strategy has given him a big advantage on the field. Schneider takes the lead. Meanwhile, the rest of the field has its problems, including Matthias Ekstrom, whose aerodynamics in the back certainly a problem. Christian Albers from the Netherlands is currently running in second. The battle back in the field, Patrick Hoosman, Marcel Tiemann, and then Ekstrom and Dumbrek. But the pit stops made the difference here at the Sachsenring. The difference for the defending champion. Bernd Schneider cruising to victory here at the Sachsenring. His second victory of the season. Naturally, the team extremely happy. Schneider out in front in the points as they head to the Norris Ring. But as a special attraction at the Norris Ring, the city course in the city of Nuremberg, players got a little chance to show their soccer skills. When it came to the racetrack, once again, Mercedes up in front. Bernd Schneider is on the right. Uwe Alsen is second as they head out on the course that has a couple of long straights, 2 hairpins, and a chicane. And this is the hairpin where all the action is. Everyone gets through cleanly this time. Fessler goes up against and past Marcel Tiemann. That's for third place. Also right behind them, the Opel of Jochen Winkelhock, and then Michel Bartels in his Opel. Opel showing much better here than they did in the opening parts of the season. But then Bartels and everyone else make some mistakes. They touch, including with Christian Abt. And once again, the Norris Ring takes its tribute. Looking at it from Christian Abt as he spins, loses part of his car. Everyone else tries to get by him. They bring the car in the pit to see if they can get it ready and get him back out on the course. More problems for Alain Menu as he spins on the last corner before the long straight from the start-finish line. Bernd Schneider out in front, Uwe Alsen, then comes Marcel Fessler and Marcel Tiemann. Then the battle for fifth between Jochen Winkelhock and Laurent Aiello. Aiello, the most successful Audi pilot so far. You get a chance to ride with him down the pit straight here on the street course in Nuremberg. Marcel Fessler in the pits. He's got problems, serious problems, and he's going to drop out. Aiello came into the pits, but then, because he was too fast on pits lane, had to come back in for a stop and go, and that takes him out of it. So it came down to Bernd Schneider coming out of the pits here, and Uwe Alsen, who is right behind him now. Alsen has already been out on the track, so his tires are a little warmer. Schneider, just out of the pits, needs a lap to get those tires up to speed. They head through the chicane, by the concrete wall, Alsen right behind Schneider. And he's going to outbrake him. That's the difference in the tires right there. Alsen had a lap or so on his tires that Schneider didn't have, and he was able to use it to get by. And the race day is over for Christian Albers, the young driver from the Netherlands. Meanwhile, out on the track, it belongs to Uwe Alsen, your winner, ahead of Bernd Schneider and Marcel Thielmann. Fourth place, the best Opel result, Jochen Winkelhock. In the points race, you can see Bernd Schneider is out in front at the halfway point in the season. And you can also see that Mercedes dominates 1, 2, 3, and 4 with the Audi fifth. Uwe Alsen was showtime. The next stop, the Euro Speedway, the Lausitz Ring, a track inside a tri-oval. The pole position belongs to Uwe Alsen. Fessler's behind him. Watch the outside as Peter Dumbreck moves way outside. Schneider is inside. Dumbreck cuts back in with a very smart move, has the line into the corner, and takes second place. Great start for the man from Scotland. The rest of the field continues to work its way through the course. They come partly onto the oval, back inside the road course. They won't join the oval again until the last corner of the oval as you ride with Ekstrom. He's running back in 19th position. But he is pushing here at the Euro Speedway in the Lausitz. Here's another good look at the start. You can see Dumbreck way over, cutting in now and forcing the issue with Fessler right behind Uwe Alsen. He has the corner and takes the lead. Bernd Schneider comes into the pits. Coming in relatively early. These pit stops mandatory for every single team. A good time for the defending champ, a bad time for Alain Menieux. He just has to work his way back into the pits. That car just fell apart. Somewhere along the way, things loosened up and finally came apart. Menieux in the pits, they're trying to get it ready to come back out on the course. And because of all the parts on the track, the safety car is out on the track. Menieux is still in the pits trying to come out. Whoa, and a lot of bumping going on between Fessler and Abt back in the pack. The restart. Dumbreck, Schneider, and Fessler move out and head of the field. Then comes Christian Abt, Thomas Jaeger, Timo Scheider, and in 7th place, Matthias Ekstrom, who'd been way back in 19th. Once again, you're riding with Ekstrom as he goes after Timo Scheider. And this is the battle for 6th position. Abt and Aiello had to go in for stop-and-go penalties, so these two Audis are dropping back. Ekstrom gets by Scheider and takes over 6th place. But this was a day for stop-and-go penalties. Marcel Fessler and Bernd Mailander had to come in for a stop-and-go, which basically took them out of the race. And here comes Ekstrom once again. Gets next to Jaeger and takes over 3rd place. Wow, the young Swede doing some great driving here at the Euro Speedway. You're riding with Ekstrom as he gets by Jaeger. Meanwhile, Peter Dumbreck and Bernd Schneider, 1 and 2, here at the Euro Speedway. The Mercedes dominance continues. Only broken once by Laurent Aiello at the Nürburgring in the Audi. Dumbreck looking for his first victory in the series. Uwe Alsen has problems and is going to have to park it in the pits. The Mercedes team waiting for their 1-2 finish here at the Euro Speedway. Here they come onto the tri-oval through the last corner. Dumbreck looking for his first victory of the year. Bernd Schneider running second, and Matthias Ekstrom a surprising third in the Audi. But the day is a Mercedes day for Norbert Haug and Peter Dumbreck.
I made a very good start. I was able to get right in behind Uwe at the start, and yeah, from there it was down to pit stops. I really wanted to get an early stop so that I could, if I got stuck in some traffic, then then I would be able to make my stop and get a clear track, and that's what happened. The safety car came out then, and I was a little bit worried then because I thought maybe the front cars could stop in the safety car zone and get back out in front of me, but for some reason they couldn't do it. And when I found myself in the lead of the race behind the safety car, immediately I thought of my mirror and I saw Bernd there, and I felt a little bit of pressure then.
The pressure's off, unless it happens to be for the champagne. But the pressure picks up again, once again at the Nürburgring, the second stop of the season for the series, running on the short course this time. Once again on the pole, Laurent Aiello. Uwe Alsen is next to him, but the Audi's up in front at the qualifying. Christian App is third, but Ekstrom is sixth. Into the chicane. Uwe Alsen gets a great start, gets by Laurent Aiello and takes the lead. Into the short segment that cuts out part of the Grand Prix lower course. It heads back to one of the faster parts of the Grand Prix circuit. Bernd Schneider is third ahead of Christian Abt. That's Hubert Haupt going off the course, but getting on with no trouble. The top 4 cars start to separate from the rest of the field. But Matthias Ekstrom is still up there, the young Swedish driver showing that he belongs. You're riding with Marcel Fessler. Down the start-finish line as you get another look going through the chicane. Bernd Schneider on the attack, moving inside of Aiello. Not there yet. Head down into the connecting segment. Schneider has the position inside and moves past him. The defending champion and points leader looking for another victory. You're riding with Christian Abt in the Audi. You can see how Schneider got by Aiello. Hubert Haupt has to come in to get the door shut. Haupt went off the course through the gravel, and that's where the problem came. Bernd Schneider comes into the pits, but he's got problems. A very long pit stop. This is taking Bernd Schneider out of it here at the Nürburgring. He'd been running so well, wanted to add to his points, but it took 40 seconds for a pit stop. That's way too much. Uwe Alsen, who's in the lead, he heads into the pits. Bernd Schneider has lost almost a lap on Aiello. Aiello is in the pits, 6.4 seconds. A great stop. Here he comes out of the pits. There's your leader, Uwe Alsen. Alsen holds on to the lead. Aiello cuts in behind him. So there's the battle for 1 and 2. That's Christian Albers. Going off the course, plenty of dust and dirt and gravel on the course. Laurent Aiello right on the back bumper of Uwe Alsen. Alsen makes a mistake as the tires start to go down. Aiello gets by him on the inside. Laurent Aiello, the leader. Norbert Hauger Mercedes, not a very happy man. Christian Albers once again touches Manuel Reuter. This is the battle for 5th place. Albers falls back to 10th position, Reuter to 6th. Meanwhile, Laurent Aiello heads to victory once again here at the Nürburgring. The second victory of the season for the Audi crew. They couldn't be much happier. The next stop on the tour in Austria, the A1 Ring, a very difficult course and what would turn out to be a very expensive course. This is the qualifying race, and watch what happens here. Timo Scheider right in the middle of it.
I think one of the Ashman Mercedes overtake me, and in the hairpin, in the second hairpin. And I think Matthias Ekström was the bad guy. He crashed directly into my rear wheel, and yeah, everything is broken, and yeah, the disaster going on.
Another look at it here in the very first corner. Nowhere to go for anybody. So in the main race, you have Schneider on the pole, Dumbrecht next to him, then Alsen and the Royale. But people still hadn't quite learned about this first corner. Watch going into it. Meunier gets way inside. He bumps into Dumbrecht, and there's more chaos. For Christian Albers and Michel Bartels, along with Martin Tomczyk, the race day is over. Take another look at it. You can see Meunier goes in the grass, bumps into Uwe Alsen, and from then on, everybody just tried to avoid. Some did, some didn't. Take another look at it from Laurent Aiello. It starts bumping with Meunier, that's right there. And then everybody just loses control. That's Dumbrecht spinning from the front angle. You can see Alsen trying to work his way around, and everybody else heads for the freest space they can find.
Well, I was just driving like normal. I had second place going into the first corner, and from behind I was hit, I don't know, on the rear right side, and it just spun me around, and from there was cars going everywhere, and then I got contact on the front of my car. It broke the radiator, and my race is over now because the car cannot be fixed.
So the pace car is out as they clean up the track. Bernd Schneider is leading ahead of Laurent Aiello. Then comes Marcel Fessler, Jochen Winkelhock, Manuel Reuter, and Yves Olivier. Martin Tomczyk was uninjured in that crash. On the restart, Schneider, Aiello, and Fessler set themselves apart from the rest of the field. Uwe Alsen running in 7th. After the crash, going after Yves Olivier. And gets by him. This is Jochen Winkelhock in the Opel going off the course into the gravel. He's had a tough season and his bad luck continues. Alsen continues to move forward. He goes after Patrick Hoosman. Coming into the pits, Laurent Aiello. Mandatory pit stops, all 4 tires. Here's Uwe Alsen getting inside Patrick Hoosman and gets by. Van Schneider is out in front with a huge lead, as you can see here with Laurent Aiello running in 2nd place. Uwe Alsen is a distant 3rd. This is Marcel Fessler spinning, but he holds on to 6th place. Van Schneider, your leader, also the man leading in the points, looking to cinch his title as quick as he can, and here he takes the checkered flag. And with that, he takes the title.
I could expect, but you never know what's going to happen, and now I got it in the pocket, and I'm really satisfied and looking forward for the next 2 races.
The defending champ has done it again. They call him the Dominator, and that he's been. Next stop on the tour in the Netherlands at Zandvoort on the coast. A moment of silence for those involved in the World Trade Center tragedy. Christian Abt on the pole position ahead of his teammate Matthias Ekstrom, jumps out into the lead. And Dumbrek is back into 3rd position. Then comes Patrick Hoosman from the Netherlands, followed by Laurent Aiello. Van Schneider is back in 21st position. Unusual place for him, but knowing him, he'll battle right to the end. You're riding with Patrick Hoosman. Dumbrek is right ahead of him. And we have a crash on the track. Martin Tomczyk in the yellow Audi and Peter Mamero. Tomczyk lost it, and Mamero had nowhere to go. Once again, time for the pit stops. They've become the key to many a race this season. Aiello is in and out. As Aiello comes out, he bumps into Peter Dumbrek. They collide on the pit lane, and they're battling here on the course. A lot of bumping going on. Alemaniu spins, but he can keep going. Aiello goes after Dumbrek and gets by. Going off the course is Matthias Ekstrom in the Audi. Zandvoort. Demanding course here in the Netherlands. That was Aiello who went off. Get a look at his car, and it almost flipped over. Christian Abt comes out in the pits. He is the leader after the pit stops. Here you're riding with Christian Albers, who goes off into the tires. An expensive race. Christian Abt wanted to get by Hubert Haupt and bumped him out of the way. Uwe Alsen, meanwhile, is closing in on Christian Abt. A battle for the lead between the Audi and the Mercedes. This is what the fans have come to see. And for Christian Opt, it's a big moment. He has a chance for his first victory in the German Touring Car Series. He won the qualifying race, but he wants to win the feature. Uwe Alsen wants to take over second place in the points race and hold on to it. He needs a good finish here. These two have had battles all season long, and they're continuing here in Zandvoort as Alsen gets inside and is still there. The Audi can't hold him back. Alsen inside. They're bumping going into the tight corners. These two are riding on each other. And here comes Abt trying to come back in. They're bumping still. And Alsen will have the lead into the corner. Abt is going to have to drop in back, and he bumps him. But Alsen holds on. Here comes Bernd Schneider in third. Schneider had been back away in 19th, is now running third. But Uwe Alsen, on the very last lap, gets by Christian Abt to take the race. And Bernd Schneider is third, an unhappy Abt crew. And Abt gives Alsen a little bit of a shove, it appears. But Uwe Alsen is the man that wins the race. Here's another case where you can see there, Christian Abt. It seems a little bit on purpose gave the shove to Uwe Alsen there, but Alsen picks up the victory. Last stop on the tour, Hockenheim. The Grand Prix course. Opel had taken the pole in the qualification race, but couldn't hold it. Patrick Hoosman won that one ahead of his teammate Bernd Mailander, and they're leading as we're underway in the feature race, the last race of 2001, the German Touring Car Masters. Hoosman is out in front. Then comes Mailander and then Dumbrecht, followed by Scheider. And Bartels had a very weak start, drops back. That's Peter Memero, the independent driver, going off the course. Now the long straightaway into the woods at Hockenheim. This will be the last time these cars will run this long course. Next year, the course will be shortened. They'll get rid of the long segment coming up right now. So the cars will be going by the grandstand a little more often. At least that's the idea. Out into the east curve, which is now an east chicane, actually. Everyone seems to be going through pretty well. Whoops, that's Manuel Reuter taking a shortcut in the Opel. Here's the beginning. Mamero, with a little bit of a touch probably, spins and goes off into the gravel. Once again, Christian Abt with questionable maneuver here as he bumps Menu, who goes off, and his race day's over. But that wasn't the only battle of the day. Alsen and Ekstrom, they continue to battle, and off the course they go. Way off the course is Ekstrom. This is going to be an expensive day. They're lucky they don't have to rebuild the cars. There'll be new cars for next year. Right now, the damage is who can survive. Patrick Hoosman has a problem on his pit stop. A similar problem that Bernd Schneider had, and it cost him the race at the Nürburgring. Finally, he's out. You're riding with Uwe Alsen. And he has collided with Michel Bartels. Everybody battling for next year's contract, quite honestly. Bernd Mailander is out in front. Dumbrecht is second. Sitting right now in third is Hubert Haupt. But Haupt has not gone into the pits as yet for the mandatory pit stop. Once he does, Bernd Schneider will take over his position. Then there comes Uwe Alsen, Reuter, and Bartels. And Hoosman and Ekstrom continue to battle. Nobody's giving up anything here today at Hockenheim in the last race of the 2001 season. Bartels with more problems comes in for a stop-and-go penalty. That puts him effectively out of the race. But the battle now is for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Bernd Schneider leads the group. Then comes Uwe Alsen, and then comes Manuel Reuter. Alsen and Reuter and Schneider, 3 of the veterans of touring car racing in Germany. Reuter wants to get inside. Alsen's not giving it to him. Alsen has made his Mercedes as wide as he possibly can to hold off Reuter. Reuter, who's had a miserable season, would like nothing better to get by and try to get on the podium. He gets inside. They're bumping. Oh, are they bumping? Reuter has now moved into 4th place. So Reuter now has to try to catch Schneider. Yves Olivier goes off the course. But the battles continue as Husmann gets inside Uwe Alsen. They're bumping going through. Husmann spins. Alsen goes off. Nobody is giving anybody anything here. Husmann may not get out of the gravel. Alsen made it out, so he'll be able to at least get on the course. Where he's going to finish is another question. Meanwhile, Bernd Mailander picks up his first victory in the German Touring Car Masters ahead of Peter Dumbrecht. Uwe Alsen will finish 2nd in the points, Dumbrecht 3rd, but the champ is Bernd Schneider.
So I was on the podium every race except Nürburgring, where we had a problem doing the pit stop. And I think there will be no way to top this in next year. But I'm really looking forward now for next year, because all the others, the Opels and the Audis, getting stronger, and all my teammates are very quick in the end of the season. That means it will be a tough season next year.
And that does it for the German Touring Car Masters 2001. Join us next year when we return for year 3 in the German Touring Car Masters.